Welcome back to episode 257 of the Craftverse series. We have some major updates to report. As of today, this is the first episode I'm recording on my brand new setup. It's not going to sound too terribly different, I don't think, but I am running on a better computer, so things might be a little smoother. Also, I have discovered a new duping glitch from Rediscover Redstone. I will link that video in the description. And it's similar to the Hopper one, but it involves droppers. That's all I'll say for now. It is a little bit different, but it is similar. And because of that, I was able to get a bunch of materials pre-prepped, and I also went back through my comment section and found an old request by Kazi Gaming YT on YouTube, hence the YT, and I was requested to build a giant potato. Now, I went back and forth on how exactly I wanted to do that, but I'm not very good with organics, so I decided to make a compromise. You know how the potato in your hotbar is kind of tiny? Well, if you built one by that model, to scale, it would be considered giant. So here we are. Here is your giant potato, forever etched onto the side of the mob grinder as if it is a billboard. Now, I did not come up with this design for the potato myself. I did look online and found this tutorial by APhipps. I hope that's how you pronounce your name. Also on YouTube, obviously. And yeah, I have signs posted by who requested it and who I got the design from. See if we can get this in the shot. Not really from this angle, unfortunately. But your request has been fulfilled. Let me know in the comments if this is what you meant, or if this is acceptable for you. But I am not very good with organics, so that's pretty much all you're going to get for the moment. Plus, I understand it's been a few weeks since your request. Yeah, it's probably been a couple months by the time this video goes out, but it is done. Also, because of the duping, I was able to get a couple of things done that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to once they patched the first duping glitch. So let's get down here and I'll show you what I mean. Also, you might notice down here is a little bit different. We're going to get to that shortly. Now, over here, I have myself a little sniffer egg. And because of the dupe, I have an army of sniffer eggs. So I can actually get started on a sniffer shelter or hatchery, whatever you want to call it, eventually. So let me know in the comments if you have a design that you think would look pretty cool, and if there's a tutorial, I will happily check it out. I've also moved a couple of things over. Let me see if I can find where I put them. Okay, I have a thing for each of the woods. I don't know if I displayed that previously. But I also have a shulker box for every single color of glazed terracotta now, so I can use different designs. And this is why. This is the glitch setup. It's very easy. The only thing you need is one thing from the nether, and then you can pretty much do it from the overworld straight out. A lever, a comparator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 redstone, and 2 droppers. That's all you need. And then it's just timing based, similar to the hopper glitch, but it's a lot easier to do. It is also easier to mess up. I found that out the hard way. But I have been quite busy, and I have all of these materials here in order to build this. It's not going to be identical, but it's going to be as close as I can pretty much physically make it. So I'm going to grab these. However, we're not done. I got some coral. I got each type. I have a shulker box worth of each, and I have a shulker box of the actual coral and the fan. And I found that if you don't have a solid air block or a full empty space in front of it, it just won't die. And because this is fully surrounded by chests, barrels, and other coral blocks, as well as carpets and other solid blocks, they just stay colorful. This, for some reason, counts as enough of a block, even though it's equivalent to a slab. I'm not complaining. It's like, how am I going to get the fifth one? Oh yeah, the other C-related item. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there, but I have an army of sea pickles, so if I want to light stuff up, I can do that. So that's pretty much all there is for that. But if I go down below, I did actually move a couple of things. Come back around this way. You'll notice that I have the beacons, the ender chests, and now my wither skulls are going to be in here. I don't have very much in here at the moment because I think I had a different account with most of them. But I did go back, fight another wither with a bunch of eggs, and I got a couple of wither roses and duped the living sin out of them. So I don't actually have to fight a wither anytime soon, thankfully. So very, very glad that went smoothly. I also posted one right here. That's just a little, haha, got a wither rose. I am in absolutely no danger of touching it, but still. But that is the extent of the updates to the base at the moment. I just have a couple of things I need to do today. Namely, finishing the shell. And what shell am I referring to? This. This big monstrosity of a build that takes up 5.5 chunks collectively. And that is all the way over here. So if we come up to the roof of my very first ever tower, you will see the shape. Now, I'm going for the spyglass look, not the one that goes into your hand. No, 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 that's too square. I'm going for the one in the model. That's why it's rounded out like that. I have 3 sets of cylinders, one of which is going to be 23, one is 27, and the other is 31 wide. And it's going to be a little bit different on each tier, but hopefully it looks pretty close by the time we're done. I've built this a couple times, and the first time I did it, it was a lot larger. If I come over here, you'll see there's a big empty space for the face of it, and I have a nice design to do with that. So let's go ahead and get, probably don't need this. Let's start with copper, because I got to do the bottom side of this with copper. Do 4 to start with. So I'm going to be following the pattern that is all the way down here, all the way across. So everything along one corner of this is going to be copper, and it's going to alternate between solid gold blocks. But as you see, it takes more than half a stack to go all the way down one time, so it's going to be a lot of copper blocks. I may have to do more duping in between episodes to get more. Oi, why you skip? Bad. Okay, so we're going to do this, go all the way down. And that's this level of the base done. This is not going to be copper. This is going to be gold. Which is why, like if you see around here, you see the whole backside is a darker shade. Yeah, I'm doing it a little differently. Having it a little alternated to keep things fresh. We're not going to be seeing any of these normal stone or grass blocks by the time we're done with this model. I'm actually quite proud of how I have the exit over here done. That's not going to be where you go in and out of. It's only going to be the front at the beginning of the farm, which is more of a duper than a farm, realistically. But I believe you see my meaning. And now that we have this pretty much good to go, I can stick all of these down here and not worry about them, giving me more space to work. That goes over here specifically, as does this. That goes over the other side. That's just a general piece. That also goes over here. That's this as well. More orange. That's the one I'm currently working with. And that also goes with this. Okay, so we're going to grab as many of these as I can, because it's going to take a while to fill in the rest of this. Now, some of you might be going, well, why are we watching you place individual blocks? Shouldn't we just be seeing a time lapse? I'm not quite that upgraded yet. I've got a little bit of work to do before I can potentially do time lapses. I'm not going to promise that it will happen, but it is a possibility that I can explore at this point, whereas it was not before. I've officially upgraded to Windows 11 as much as I did not want to have to. I wasn't given much of a choice because we don't know exactly when it's going to cut off and I needed to be prepared. I'm recording this in September, but next month is when it's going to be cut off. By now, you seeing this video, it's October or later, so it may have very well already been cut off, and I just haven't been privy to that information yet. You're in the future for me. Quite substantially in the future, actually. Oop, don't fall off. That would not be good. Can you see it starting to take shape? It's a little early to see it take shape fully, but still. So I don't fall off, I'll go from this side. Okay, now there's a cheaty method you can use right here to not fall off. And that's what I'm going to be demonstrating at this point. It's just to back up along this. Oop, well, never mind. That cheaty method doesn't always work. Well, that's embarrassing. Hey, I landed. So you just crouch and repeat and just do it that way. That's the smarter way to do it. Can't even blame the game for trying to prove me wrong on that one. That is strictly my own hubris. It's like, oh, you thought you could get one over on me, eh? No, I don't think so today. It's actually been a little while between recording sessions for me simply because I've had some health issues get in the way and I haven't felt up to recording. But it seems like things are starting to level out at the moment, and hopefully I'm not speaking too soon and jinxing myself. Speaking of Jinx, that is actually the name of our cat. And, yeah, he's been diagnosed with diabetes recently, so we're having to juggle that in the midst of everything else. And let's deposit all of that, try to find my gold blocks. Well, you actually belong in the front with the orange. You're the other copper, you can just go there. Here's my gold blocks. Now I gotta repeat the same thing along the other side. And then I can do the same thing along the top. This is a lot of blocks to have to do all the way around. But I feel like I got 2 shulker boxes and that would be enough. We're just gonna have to wait and see. In creative, it's a lot easier to not pay attention to the quantity and just focus on how it looks in the end product. And I'm quite happy with the end product. So let's see how you guys feel at the end of this build process. The only thing I wanted to get done off camera was the outline, because I want you guys to see how to build it yourselves. And it just takes quite a long time to get the outline portion in. So we're going to go 2 wide this time. And now for the single wides. I know some people might be triggered by single wide. It's like, I moved into a double wide. I don't need to think about single wides anymore. Well, sorry, but Minecraft doesn't think that way. Okay, it's getting nighttime-ish, so I should probably think about sleeping. Yeah, right about now is probably a good time. I was close. I was like a split second off. But yeah, cat being diabetic means we have to do a strict schedule of giving him medication, and sometimes that gets in the way of streams. Because if one person is unable to help, then I have to take that slot. And it's not like I don't want to help. I definitely want to make sure he gets the meds that he needs. But when it impacts the business is when it's a little dicey to try and figure things out. It's like I will do whatever I have to make sure he stays healthy and okay. But I also feel like you guys have been sticking with me for quite a long time, and I appreciate you, and I want to make sure you get content. So for the foreseeable future, it's just going to be YouTube videos. If there's a point when I can safely get back to streaming, I'll consider doing that, but it's not going to be anytime soon. We have to figure out whether twice daily medication or once daily medication works best for him. As of right now, it's twice, but with other medical issues he's dealing with, it's technically 3 times a day, just twice for the insulin. If anybody else watching has had a diabetic pet, you understand the struggle of trying to get the correct dosage and making sure they take it. So dogs are a little bit easier to convince to take their meds because if you hide it in their food and it's something that they can take, they'll more happily do it, but cats are very, very stubborn and finicky. This is looking a lot better than I thought it was going to be. This actually might be enough for this whole rim, just the one shulker, and then I'll have an extra shulker untouched. I'm okay with that. So I got to bring this all the way around the other side. So back up here we go. Ow. Thought I could avoid damage, but nope. No such luck. Okay. Now we do this. Oop. Nope, we do not do that. This is easier for the first one. After that, I have to go back up there. Oop. Or down here. Maybe I should put the effort into getting the front installed. Might seem like a safer bet at the moment. So I don't do a death. So I'd very much not like to lose max levels because it's never going to come back. Once I die, I'm going to be a little more reckless. Just simply because it's, you know, not as big a deal if I lose 5 or 10 levels as if I lost all of them. Literally all of the levels. All the things. Oop! Oh, gotta love wings. Hard to pay attention to what's behind you. Or, just get up here. This'll work. I can get there from here. There we go. Okay, we're good. Just gonna go this direction instead of backwards, and I'm fine. What's the point of having Swift Sneak if I'm not going to utilize it, you know? That's not where you go. Alright, get to the end from here. Going across the vast chasm makes me nervous, but you know what? We're just gonna have to deal with that. And again, I'm going backwards at high speed. See, I could turn around and do it smartly. This will prevent me from having to deal with phantoms while I'm actually messing around in the Duper, provided it will still function. I haven't actually tested it, but as well, this is a part of our history on Craftverse, because this was one of the first Dupers I ever actually built. Literally ever. So it opened my eyes to a great deal of possibilities, and that's why we have our towers now. Ironically, the very first tower I did legitimately with barely any duping. I might have done some of the blackstone, but other than that, pretty much all of it was by craft. Why am I going this way? Once I get this next set of 3 in, that is all of the copper. So I believe I might have enough without going into the second shulker. And that would guarantee that I have the same amount for the gold. Oh yeah, we're good. Most definitely we are good. So I only needed 1 shulker box of copper and 1 of gold just to get this. And then I'll see how much I have left in my inventory to do the face. Oh yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine. I'm just going to go ahead and get the gold in before I do the face. I think I might actually need more than just the 1 shulker just to include the face. But We should be good. This right here has to be gold. Because if you look at the model, the very face of the Spyglass is yellow. Now, I've tried using different shades of yellow, but this is the closest one to that without using concrete, which doesn't have the same luster. And it's supposed to be a little shiny. Now, given what you craft a Spyglass out of, I couldn't possibly tell you why there's gold on it. But I guess copper has a sheen to it if it's shined properly. Also, I'm not quite sure why there's blue when copper and amethyst do not make blue. One's an orange, one's a purple, and the two do not blue make. It's like factoring in Pokemon evolutions. You have to have some type of lore reference as to why. Like, it's got glass in the name, it's got to be reflective and refractive. It's also not a kaleidoscope, it only has orange and purple in it, but you know what? Why argue if it works, right? And by works, I mean functions, not make sense, because we don't bother with making Minecraft make sense. That is a waste of time and energy. Now, the main issue I'm going to have with this build is actually things spawning on it while I'm finishing the build process. So I have to make sure to stay on top of sleeping. Because I don't want to have a bunch of explodey boys spawning up here and blowing up my work and being a general nuisance. But that is the risk you run when playing the crafting of the mines. You guys get to see the finished product done correctly the first time. I had to go through several iterations of doing this. It's like the third or fourth day that I've been working on this build. But I wanted it to be proper and fitting. And at the very end of it all, it's barely going to fit everything as it should. This should be fine. Okay, that audio glitch made me suspect that something really wasn't going to place. It's already starting to look like a spyglass. Now, if you take a peek at that model in the hotbar, the central portion of it is kind of a deeper purple with a little bit of a lighter gradient. So what I'm going to end up doing with that is the magenta and purple terracotta, not glazed, just regular. And in order to make this seem more like a mechanical extension, as a spyglass is supposed to retract and extend, I'm keeping the central lines along every tier, not only to help with spacing, but also to help with the retraction. It's like it's a guardrail pulling it in and locking it in place. You'll see a little bit more of what I mean by that once we get to those points. But externally speaking, this is what we have so far. It just looks like a weird shiny cylinder at the moment, but these are waxed copper, so they won't turn green. So yeah, that's where we're at in this episode. Basically, the whole episode was me filling in this main section. Hopefully the next section will be a little bit easier. And then the interiors and the faceplate. I'll probably do the faceplate at the beginning of next episode now that we don't have to do a tour of updates. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. And I do have a plan for some of those coral fans in the near future. Hopefully we can get to that before too long. Because my mob farm is a bit slow. I need more gunpowder. And I don't know how long the duping is going to last for, so I'm just going to have to be a little cautious and do what I can. For right now, that's going to be the end of this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Please leave a like and subscribe if you are enjoying the series. It helps out the channel a ton, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.